Use Tera to manage router configuration files. This topology. I will not use a switch. I will connect PCA directly to R1. Okay. I will not use a switch. R1 gigabit 001 IP address, subnet mask, PCA, network interface card, IP address, and subnet mask default gateway. It is a recommended best practice to maintain backup configuration files for routers and switches in the event that they need to be restored in a previous configuration. Terminal emulation software can be used to easily backup or restore a router or switch configuration file. Use Tera to back up a router running configuration file, erase the router startup configuration file, reload the router, restore the missing router configuration from the backup configuration file. Required resources for real one router, Cisco 4221. In my case, I'm using 2111. I'm using Cisco 2111. One switch, I'm not using a switch. One PC, console cables, Ethernet cables. Configure basic device settings. Cable the network is shown in the topology. Configure PCA settings according to the addressing table. Okay, this is PCA. WAN 192.168.1.3. Subnet mask 24, default gateway 192.168.1.1. Configure basic settings for the router. Tera serial COM21 in my case. Okay. Assign a device name to the router. Enter. Would you like to enter initial configuration dialog? No. Enter. Enter. Enable configure terminal hostname R1. Disable DNS lookup. No IP domain lookup. Class as the privileged exec encrypted password. Enable secret class. Cisco as the console password. Line console 0. Password Cisco. Enable logging. Cisco as the BTY password and enable logging. Line BTY 0 to 15. Password Cisco login. Encrypt the plain text passwords. Exit to go global configuration mode and service password dash encryption. Okay. to encrypt plain text passwords and create a banner message of the day. Unauthorized access is prohibited. Configure interfaces. Okay, go to table. Okay, addressing table. In 4221 router is gigabit 001 with, in my case, 2111 router is gigabit 01. Interface gigabit 01. And set the IP address 192.168.1, subnet mask 24, no shutdown. Okay, interface gigabit 01, change it, state to up. Line protocol interface gigabit 01, change it, state to up. Configure basic settings for the switch. I'm not using a switch. Create a backup configuration file. In Tera or other terminal emulation program, you can create a log of your commands and output to a device via a connection. In this part, you will record your interaction with a device using the logging feature of Tera. Create a log file. Connect to the router via serial connection in Tera as necessary. Okay, enter, exit, exit, then exit. Close Tera. Okay, create a log file. Connect to the router via serial connection in Tera as necessary. In the new connection window, select serial radio button and the appropriate communications port of your PC. For example, COM port. Okay, Tera. Serial connection, select the COM port. In my case, is 21, may vary. Okay. From the file menu, choose log, file, log, and save the teraterm.log file to the desktop. Okay, be sure you are on desktop. Teraterm.log. Teraterm.log. Ensure that the append and plain text checkboxes are enabled. Check it. Append, plain text, save. The Tera log file will create a record of every command issued and every output displayed. You can use this feature to capture the output of several commands in sequence and use it for network documentation purposes. For example, you could issue the show version, show IP interface brief, and show running config commands to capture information about the router. Display the router running configuration. Use the console password to log in the router. Enter password is Cisco. Enter privilege exec mode. Enable. Password is class. Okay, you are now on privilege exec mode. From privilege exec mode, enter show running config command. Show running config. Enter. Continue pressing the spacebar when more is displayed until you see the router R1 prompt return. Okay, more, so space key. Okay, more space, and now you can see R1 prompt again. From File menu, choose Show Log Dialog, File, Show Log Dialog, and close to end the log session. Close. Okay, and this is the file on desktop. This is the file, teraterm.log. Open this, and you can see when you enter the password, the enable command, the privilege exec mode password, the more messages, configurations, okay, and the prompt. You can also copy and paste the text from the Teraterm window directly to a text editor. Okay, for example, you can go to show running config, select all this and edit, copy, and use a notepad and paste. Okay. Okay, the difference. This is the log file, and this another is the copy and paste method. Okay, you can see this file doesn't have the more messages. No more messages. Okay, but the log file will show you all the more and more. Use a backup configuration file to restore a router and switch configuration. Erase the router startup configuration and reload it. From privilege exec mode, erase the startup configuration. Erase startup config, then confirm. Erase startup-config. Enter to confirm. Then reload the router. Enter and reload. Enter. System configuration has been modified. Save? No. Enter. Confirm. Enter. At the system configuration dialog prompt, type no. A router prompt displays indicated an unconfigured router. Would you like to enter initial configuration dialog? Okay. You answer no. Would you like enter the initial configuration dialog? No. Enter. Enter enter privilege exec mode and enter show running command to verify that all the previous configurations were erased. Enable show running -config. Okay, hostname is router by default. No enable secret password. No configurations on gigabit 01. No line passwords. Edit the saved configuration backup file to prepare it for restoring the router configuration. To restore the router configuration from a saved running configuration backup file, you must edit the text. Open the teraterm.log text file. Remove each instance of more in the text file. Okay, the teraterm. Okay, remove more. Okay. Okay, the more was generated by pressing the spacebar when displaying the running configuration. Delete the initial lines of the backup configuration file so that the first line starts with the first configuration command as shown below. Okay. These lines, the service lines, should be the first lines. Okay, these lines should be the first, so remove all this. Okay, very good. In the lines for the interface gigabit 001, insert a new line to enable the interface. Okay, this is the configuration with change to the same with add no shutdown. Okay. In my case, it's gigabit 01, IP, duplex auto speed, and add no shutdown. After you have made all the edits to the backup configuration file, save your changes to the file r1-config backup. Okay, file, save as on desktop, r1 config backup. Okay, r1 config backup, r1 config backup. When saving the file, an extension such as .txt may be added to the file name automatically. Okay, save. Restore the router configuration. You can restore the edited running configuration directly to the console terminal in router global configuration mode. And the configurations are entered as if they were commands entered individually at the command prompt. Okay, from the Teraterm console connection to the router, enter global configuration mode. Okay, configure terminal. Okay, you are on global configuration mode. File menu, select send file. File menu, send file. And select the edited file. Okay, this file, r1 config backup. Okay, then open. Very good. You can see how the configurations are entered as if they were commands entered individually at the command prompt. Service commands, hostname, boot commands, the enable secret. You know, enable secret is class, okay? Enable secret password is class. Okay, class. But this is class and is encrypted. And this line is detected as an encrypted password. Okay, and don't worry about this. The password is still class. Interface gigabit 01, no shutdown to enable the interface. And line console, this password is Cisco. And this line is detected as an encrypted password. So the password for line console is still Cisco. The same way for BTY passwords. Okay, enter and okay, don't forget to remove this R1. Okay, and remove this. is not part of the configuration. Okay, so that's why it's trying to find the IP address or host name. Okay, but don't worry. And save the running configuration to startup configuration. Copy running config to startup config. Copy running -config to startup -config. Enter. Destination startup config. Enter. Okay, R1. And verify the new running configuration. Show running config. Okay, the host name is R1, the enable secret is class that is encrypted, gigabit 01, password, the banner, and passwords for line. Exit and verify the passwords. Enter password Cisco, okay, enable class, very good. Backup and restore the switch. I'm not using a switch, okay. Reflection question: why do you think it is important to use a text editor instead of a word processor to copy and save your command configurations? And the answer is a word processor could possibly add special control characters to the text, making it difficult to use to restore the router. Thank you very much.